If you want to be happy and wealthy, you must first understand that happiness and wealth are not accidents. They are not gifts dropped into your lap by chance, nor are they the results of wishing, hoping, or daydreaming. They are the consequences of alignment, when your inner life and your outer life finally start walking in the same direction. Too many people chase wealth while neglecting their spirit, and too many chase happiness while ignoring discipline. But when the two come together, when you cultivate a heart that is whole and a mind that is focused, life begins to pour out blessings that you are finally strong enough to carry. Happiness starts with the courage to confront yourself, not the version of you that you post online, not the image you polish for the world, but the you that lives behind your eyes, the you that wrestles with doubt, carries disappointment, and hides old wounds. Until you deal with what's inside, nothing outside will ever be enough. No amount of money, attention, or applause can satisfy an unsettled soul. Joy cannot sit on a foundation that is cracking. So the first step toward prosperity is honesty, the willingness to say, something in me needs healing. Something in me needs discipline. Something in me needs growth. When you fix what's broken within, you make space for blessings to land without falling through the cracks. But happiness alone is not enough. If happiness is the soil, then discipline is the seed. Wealth grows in the ground of order, consistency, and intention. You can pray for increase, you can hope for promotion, you can desire abundance, but none of it will manifest until you commit to daily habits that match what you're asking for. Wealth requires structure. It requires stewardship. It requires you to stop leaking energy on distractions, stop pouring time into people who drain you, stop burying your potential under excuses. Your life cannot rise if your habits stay low. Your dreams cannot grow if your mindset stays small. You cannot expect a harvest while ignoring the field, and hear this: wealth is not just money. Wealth is peace that money cannot buy. Wealth is relationships you don't have to question. Wealth is waking up in the morning with purpose burning in your chest. Wealth is the strength to walk away from anything that tries to shrink you. Wealth is clarity, knowing who you are, where you're going, and what you won't tolerate anymore. When you understand this, you pursue life differently. You stop chasing validation and start building value. You stop trying to impress and start trying to improve. You stop wanting a lifestyle you haven't grown the character to sustain. Happiness and wealth both demand sacrifice. They require you to let go of old habits, old thinking, old fears, old company. Some people cannot walk with you into the next level because they are tied to the version of you that you are trying to outgrow. Some environments cannot house your future because they are built for your past. If you're serious about rising, you must be willing to close doors that no longer lead where your destiny is calling. Growth always requires separation. Elevation always requires release. You cannot take everything with you and expect to travel far. And while you're building, you must protect your mind. Guard your thoughts like treasure. What you meditate on becomes what you manifest. If you feed your mind fear, you'll live fearfully. If you feed it doubt, you'll walk in hesitation. But if you feed it vision, if you speak life, possibility, discipline, and gratitude, your life will start moving in the direction of your confession. Happiness is a decision before it becomes a feeling. Wealth is a mindset before it becomes a lifestyle. If you want to be happy and wealthy, align your heart with truth, align your habits with purpose, and align your life with the person you're becoming. Stop waiting for the world to hand you what you have the power to build. Stop wishing for a future you refuse to work for. Happiness and wealth are not distant dreams. They are the results of daily choices, internal healing, intentional discipline, and unwavering focus. When you rise within, everything around you begins to rise with you. If you want to be happy and wealthy, you must begin by recognizing that everything you desire externally starts with what you cultivate internally. So many people chase outcomes while ignoring their inner landscape and then wonder why their lives feel unstable, why their blessings slip through their fingers, or why their joy doesn't last longer than a moment. Happiness and wealth cannot stand on a fractured foundation. They require inner wholeness, inner clarity, and inner truth. When you start focusing on what's happening inside of you with the same intensity that you focus on what you want outside of you, everything in your life begins to shift. Your thoughts become sharper, your decisions become wiser, and your path becomes clearer. You begin to understand that happiness is not something you wait for, it's something you build. It's a product of alignment, your thoughts, your emotions, your choices, your habits all moving toward the same direction, instead of pulling against each other. True happiness begins with the courage to sit with yourself and ask the questions you've been running from. Are you living authentically? Are you carrying pain you haven't dealt with? Are you allowing people to take up space in your life who don't contribute to your growth? Are you still defining yourself by what hurt you, who left you, or what didn't work out? You cannot rise while dragging the weight of unhealed places. You cannot thrive while ignoring wounds that still bleed. Happiness requires honesty, and honesty requires bravery. You must be willing to confront the parts of you that you've kept hidden, the insecurities you disguise with confidence, the fears you mask with busyness, the doubts you bury under performance. The moment you choose to face what's within you is the moment you start freeing yourself from what controls you. You reclaim your power, you reclaim your peace, you reclaim your joy. And once you begin healing, once you start tending to the deeper parts of your soul, you create space for wealth to grow. Not just financial wealth, but the wealth of a strengthened mind, an unshakable spirit, a heart that knows how to rest even in challenges. Wealth thrives in a disciplined environment. It grows where there is order, intention, and responsibility. Many people pray for more but live in patterns that drain what they already have. They ask for increase while mismanaging the opportunities already in their hands. They want abundance but cling to habits that lead to lack. Wealth requires structure. It requires commitment. It requires the discipline to do today what your future self will thank you for. You cannot expect prosperity while maintaining the mindset of survival. You cannot elevate your life while clinging to excuses. You cannot build anything lasting while entertaining distractions that weaken your focus. Happiness and wealth meet where discipline and healing intersect. When you are emotionally grounded, spiritually centered, mentally clear, and behaviorally consistent, the doors that once seemed locked begin to open. Opportunities that once passed by begin to find you. Ideas flow more freely. Your confidence grows. You begin to trust yourself again. Maybe for the first time in a long time, you stop chasing validation because you recognize your own worth. You stop settling for crumbs because you understand the banquet life was meant to offer. You stop accepting chaos because peace has become your new standard. You start planting seeds in the soil of purpose rather than scattering them in the fields of distraction. And with every seed, with every disciplined step, with every healed layer, your life begins to form a rhythm of growth, steady, strong, unstoppable. If you want to be happy and wealthy, you must understand that both are cultivated through intention and action, not luck or circumstance. So many people live their lives waiting for something external to shift, waiting for someone else to provide, waiting for a moment that may never come. But the truth is, happiness and wealth are not things you stumble upon, they are things you create. They are reflections of the choices you make daily, the habits you cultivate, and the mindset you refuse to compromise. If you want to experience true joy and abundance, you have to start with yourself. You have to start with the way you think, the way you feel, and the way you respond to the world around you. The world will give you nothing until you give yourself everything you need to thrive. Your inner state sets the tone for your outer life. If your mind is cluttered, if your heart is restless, if your soul is unsettled, wealth and happiness will always feel just out of reach. Happiness begins when you take responsibility for your emotional state. Too many people live at the mercy of circumstances, allowing situations, other people, and past failures to dictate their joy. But joy is not found in circumstances. It is found in the way you choose to respond to them. You cannot control what happens to you, but you can control how long you stay down, how quickly you forgive, and how much hope you carry into tomorrow. Choosing happiness is a deliberate act, not a fleeting emotion. It is a commitment to see life through the lens of possibility instead of limitation, to see opportunities in every challenge instead of defeat. When you make this decision, you stop giving your power away and start building a life that honors the potential within you. You stop waiting for external validation and start cultivating internal strength. You begin to see that the world mirrors your mindset. Wealth, on the other hand, is the result of intentional action paired with disciplined thought. It is not just about money, it is about building capacity, the capacity to make decisions, the capacity to create value, the capacity to endure and persevere. Wealth requires structure. It requires you to prioritize, to eliminate what doesn't serve your vision, and to commit to a path that may demand sacrifice. Many people desire wealth, but few are willing to pay the price it demands. You must be willing to delay gratification, to invest in yourself, to say no to distractions, and yes to growth. Your habits, your daily routines, and the company you keep determine whether wealth flows into your life or slips through your fingers. Wealth respects discipline, values focus, and rewards persistence. Happiness and wealth converge when you learn to master your mind and your emotions. A wealthy mind is a mind free from negativity, a mind that sees challenges as opportunities, a mind that focuses on solutions instead of problems. A happy heart is a heart that forgives, that lets go of resentment, that finds gratitude even in difficulty. When your mind and your heart are aligned, you operate from a place of power rather than fear, from a place of abundance rather than scarcity. Your vision becomes clear, your energy becomes magnetic, people are drawn to you, opportunities seek you, and life begins to move in your favor. You start to attract not just material wealth, but the kind of wealth that lasts, peace, fulfillment, and purpose. If you want to be happy and wealthy, you must commit to growth in every area of your life. You must be willing to let go of old habits, old thoughts, and old relationships that no longer serve your vision. You must be willing to invest time, energy, and resources in yourself, in your skills, and in your purpose. You must protect your mind and guard your heart. You must take responsibility for your life because no one else will. The journey to happiness and wealth is a journey inward first and outward second. It is a journey of self-awareness, discipline, and relentless pursuit of the life you were meant to live. The choices you make today, no matter how small, are shaping the reality you will experience tomorrow. If you want to be happy and wealthy, you must first understand that both are reflections of your inner state, not just the conditions of your external world. Too often, People search for happiness in things, in people, in positions, or in money, thinking that if they acquire enough, joy will finally arrive. But happiness is not a prize to be won. It is a practice, a discipline, and a daily choice. It begins with the way you perceive life, the way you process your experiences, and the way you treat yourself when no one is watching. Wealth, likewise, is not simply money in the bank or assets on paper. It is the ability to create, sustain, and multiply value in your life and in the lives of others. It is the fruit of intentionality, focus, and unwavering commitment. The moment you internalize this truth, you start to live differently because your choices start to align with your vision rather than with short-term desires or fleeting emotions. Happiness begins with self-awareness. You must learn to identify the thoughts and beliefs that have been quietly sabotaging your joy. Too many people carry unspoken fears, hidden resentments, and unexamined doubts that silently dictate their moods and actions. They allow old stories and past failures to whisper lies into their minds, telling them they are not enough, that life is unfair, or that their dreams are impossible. To cultivate happiness, you must first confront these narratives and challenge them. You must replace them with truth, with gratitude, with vision. You must actively choose to focus on what is working in your life rather than dwelling on what is broken. Happiness is a skill, a muscle, and like any muscle, it grows stronger with exercise. Every time you practice gratitude, every time you forgive, every time you focus on solutions instead of problems, you are building the foundation for a life that joyfully sustains you even in the midst of storms. Wealth grows when discipline meets opportunity. Many people talk about wanting wealth, but wealth does not come to wishful thinkers. It comes to those who are deliberate and strategic. It comes to those who understand the value of their time, who make decisions that honor their future, and who prioritize growth over immediate gratification. You cannot plant seeds in the soil and then walk away hoping for a harvest without ever tending it. Your life requires consistent effort, intentional habits, and the courage to make sacrifices today for rewards that will come tomorrow. Wealth demands that you take control of your finances, your relationships, and your skills. It demands that you invest in yourself mentally, emotionally, and physically. Every step you take toward improvement, every boundary you set, every disciplined choice compounds over time, creating not just financial gain, but a life rich in stability, opportunity, and influence. The secret is that happiness and wealth are not separate journeys. They are intertwined. A joyful person with wealth without wisdom squanders what they have. A disciplined person with wealth, but without inner joy, may find their success empty and hollow. True fulfillment occurs when your inner life matches your outer life. When your thoughts, your values, and your actions all point in the same direction, life begins to flow effortlessly. You begin to attract people, opportunities, and experiences that match your level of energy and focus. You learn to recognize that setbacks are temporary, that challenges are lessons, and that your potential is far greater than your circumstances might suggest. To be happy and wealthy, you must commit to continuous growth. You must be willing to examine your life honestly, to let go of what no longer serves you, and to take responsibility for your choices. You must develop the resilience to persevere when progress feels slow, the patience to wait for results, and the courage to act even when fear whispers not yet. You must protect your mind from negativity, your heart from resentment, and your spirit from doubt. You must see yourself as worthy of abundance and joy, because the universe responds to the confidence you hold in your own potential. When you live with this awareness, every decision becomes purposeful. Every challenge becomes an opportunity. and every day becomes a step closer to the life you were created to live.